What would you do if you had seconds to choose between your life and the future of your country? Would you run or would you stay knowing the cost? One young Ukrainian already has made his choice, and this choice changed everything. It's not a legend, it's not a movie or a fiction. This is a true story of the first hero of Ukraine and how one young man gave his life to save his country. My name is Olga, and on this channel I share the stories of war through Ukrainian eyes. The eyes of mothers, children, soldiers, those who stayed and those who never came back. These stories, they are not always about destruction or death. They are about human dignity, about quiet heroes whose names the world should know and remember. And today I would like to tell you the story of an amazing man whose decision changed everything. He didn't wait for orders. He didn't retreat. His name is Vitaliy Skakun, and on the first day of invasion, he stopped a Russian column with one act of impossible bravery. This name, Vitaliy Skakun, deserves to be remembered not just in Ukraine, but across the world. He was a young guy. He was only 25, someone's son, brother, and friend. As his teachers recall, he had a cheerful soul with kind eyes and quiet determination. Vitaliy has lived abroad, and like many young Ukrainians, he tried to build a future there. But something inside him was calling him home, and at some point of time he returned to Ukraine to live, to work, and in future to serve. He joined 35th Separate Marine Brigade, and he learned to be a sapper. He was mastering one of the most dangerous skills on the battlefield. He was learning how to lay explosives under pressure. That is a profession when any mistake could be your last one. He was not a soldier by birth. He became the soldier by the discipline. He was mastering this dangerous work of combat engineer. And then came this day, the darkest day, February 24th, 2022. It's the day when full-scale invasion began. At 4 a.m., Russian columns were advancing, and Vitaliy and his friends, his fellow soldiers, were sent to mine Henichesk Bridge. It's a critical point because if crossed, it would give the Russians army a direct path deeper into the Ukrainian territory. And their first attempt to detonate the explosives failed, and there was the order to fall back. But Vitaliy didn't fall back. He turned to his friends and he said the words that will echo through the generations. "Sanya, get away, I'll do it. Get away, I'll blow it up with myself." And then he ran. He ran alone, straight towards the bridge, straight towards the death. And seconds later, the explosion shattered the stillness of the air. And with that, the enemy's advance was stopped. Unfortunately, Vitaliy's body never came back, but his courage became the first great feat of Ukraine's modern resistance. He was posthumously awarded the title Hero of Ukraine. That was the very first title of the full-scale war, the first person who got that title. And he got it not for being strongest or for being most experienced, but for doing this one thing that mattered so much. He gave his life to save Ukrainian land. That day, the world changed for everyone in Ukraine. His sister, Natalia, later recalled that her first emotion wasn't pride, it was anger. He was thinking, how could her brother live like that? It took her 6 months to accept his choice, to understand that he didn't want to die. He just wanted Ukraine to live. At that time, his mother was working abroad, and before the war, just one day before the war, on February 23rd, she was feeling something, and she rang him, like asking, "How are you, son?" And his voice was heavy, like he asked, "Mom, don't you know what's happening in Ukraine?" And he tried to stay calm. He tried to just to give hope to his mom, and she tried to support him, but deep down something was stirring. And the next day, on February 24th, she didn't know that he was gone. He went to the church, she went to the church, she lit the candle for his wealth, and then she saw a pigeon that landed on her balcony. And she took it as a sign, maybe good news, maybe Vitaliy would send her a message. That night she tried to connect with him, she called hospitals, no answers, but she was waiting. In the morning she finally dropped off. In the morning she was so tired that she finally went to sleep, and in her dream she saw him. She saw him in white clothing, glowing, smiling, and very peaceful. She was angry and she was asking, "Son, where are you? I'm looking for you." But he said nothing. Then she woke up and there was the call from her daughter. She said, "Mom, our Vitaliy is gone. We saw him on the news. He died." Her response to his sacrifice was quiet and full of grace. She said, "Yes, he did the right thing, and I accepted it. If I had been in his place and I understood that many lives depended on me, I would have done the same." And this is what many people don't understand. On that morning, civilians, they didn't know what was happening, but soldiers knew what was happening. And the soldiers were not living in dreams. That is why Vitaliy didn't hesitate. He knew that he had to stop this column of Russian technique, of Russian tanks, and he chose his country over comfort. He chose life over fear and future over self. I think this is the legacy that Ukraine and the world should remember forever. And I'm sure Ukraine will remember him. In Bridge.War, a street bears his name. In Berezhany, this is the place where he was born. Another street was renamed in his honor. In Czech Republic, a bridge carries his name. In Poland, he has been named an honorary citizen of Leszno. So his courage really echoes beyond the borders of Ukraine. But there is no monument that will ever speak louder than the sound of that explosion on February 24 on Henichesk Bridge, when one man decided that Ukraine must stand. And this story, it really matters, because this story could be the script of a powerful novel or a movie. One man, one bridge, the first day of invasion, one moment of choice. But it's not fantasy, it's the life in Ukraine, and this is what resistance look like. Not only in trenches, but in simple choices. Vitaliy's sacrifice is a call for everyone to remember what price we are paying, to remember the cost of freedom. And sometimes the heroes, they are wearing simple dust-covered uniforms and have a lot of courage in their hearts. The war is not over, and the missiles are still raining in our cities. The children still miss their schools because the air raid sirens keep our children underground through the lessons, and through the nights they can't sleep. The doctors race across Kyiv under the fire to carry beating hearts to perform the surgeries. And we all in Ukraine are full of Vitaliy's spirit, unbreakable and undefeated. If this story moved you, subscribe to this channel, because the world needs to hear these stories, because remembering and telling about them is a form of resistance, and because together we can keep the light alive even when the hours are still dark. Please share, comment, and join our community, and you will help Ukraine to defend itself. And you will tell the world the truth that invaders want to bury. Vitaliy Skakun gave his life so others could live in freedom. So let's make sure that the world never forgets his name. Thank you so much for supporting me on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you so much for your comments and subscriptions. Thank you for being here and for listening. Slava Ukraini!